This video is about the basics of creating an animation in Adobe Flash Professional CS. To start with, we're going to create a new Action Script 3.0 file. That will open up the project. You can see that we have this white rectangle in the middle. That is our stage. On the bottom, we have a timeline with a layer in it. The timeline is empty though right now because you can see that there are no frames there. Over on the right-hand side, there's a couple of toolbars, as well as the Properties panel and the Library panel for the resources we have. You can change some things about the movie. You can see over in the properties of the file there, we've got 24 frames per second is where it's set at. So you can change that if you want to go higher or lower frame rate. Also, the size is 550 by 400. You can change those as well if you want to match another format. We'll start by just animating a simple shape. So I'll just take the rectangle tool over in the panel here. It's right now got a black stroke with a green fill. I'll just draw a rectangle on my stage. Once I do that, you can see in the timeline that the timeline has changed a little bit. There's now a gray frame there with a black dot on it, showing that there's something in that frame. However, it's still only one frame, so there's no length to my movie. I'll go ahead down the timeline here, and 120 frames would be 5 seconds. So at that point, I'll right-click and insert a frame. That will now give me some length to my movie. If I want to animate this shape, I have to create something called a tween. To do that, I will right-click on Layer 1 where this shape is, and insert. I'll do a Motion Tween. When I do that, it's going to tell me that I would need to convert this shape to a symbol, because only symbols can be tweened. So I'll go ahead and press OK, and now we'll see that in the library I now have symbol 1, which is my green rectangle. If I have to make a motion tween, I'm going to use the arrow tool here. All I need to do is move in my timeline to where I want my motion to, my next keyframe to be, which is where the next element of motion will be marked. And I'll move to the end here, and I'll just drag my rectangle to the other corner. Once I do that, you can see a dotted green line show up. That is the motion path that I just created. If I move my cursor to another location on the timeline, or move it along the timeline, you can see how it moves along that path. I can move it to wherever else I want in the timeline and move my rectangle, and it will start adding extra bends to my motion path because I'm now adding more details to the motion. I can even grab motion path directly, and I can adjust it. I can make it a curved motion path if I want. I can grab the endpoints and move them, which reflect where the keyframes are in my motion path. So I can even move it all as a group, and I can affect how that motion path behaves. Now when I play my animation from the beginning, the rectangle will follow the motion path that has been prescribed. You can only have one symbol in a tween on a layer at a time. So if I would like to have more than one object being animated here, I'll need to add another layer. So I'll go over here to the Layers panel in the lower left-hand corner and click on the New Layer icon. And here I can draw another shape. This time I'll draw an oval. I'll change my color just to be something else, and I'll draw a red oval. I can now create a tween for this by right-clicking and adding a motion tween. It'll again convert it to a symbol. And just as before, I can move my shape, and it'll create a motion path. If I want to do a bouncing ball effect, I'll just move it horizontally here, and then adjust my motion path so that the path goes in a arc here. Now when I play it, I'll actually have both objects moving at the same time because I now have two shapes with two motion paths. You can add as many other layers and as many objects as you want. Remember that only a symbol can be in a tween, and only one symbol can be tweened at a time on a layer. Notice also that when the two objects overlap in their paths, the order of the layers affects what order they appear. If I were to drag layer 2 below layer 1, the red ball would be behind the green rectangle, and vice versa.